We're here to talk about what makes rich companies rich. And I'm not talking about like rich companies. I'm talking about like rich companies. And I'm not talking about how we're going to make them like a little rich, not like 100 million rich, but like a billion rich. What makes these billion dollar companies?
So when we talk about rich companies and when I think of a rich company, I usually think of a super luxury brand who's making a lot of money on each product it has sold. Take an Louis Vuitton, for example. Take a Rolex, for example. These guys personify luxury. They are there in every big event. You see Rolex, you see LV. LV's recently entered Formula One. And these companies have been around for years. So when I think of a rich company, these are the ones that come into mind. The alternative that I have is that a company that is consistently making money, and not in that they're making 100 rupees today, so they're going to be making 100 rupees tomorrow, in a way that they are staying above inflation rates. If we talk about someone making 100 rupees 100 years ago and making 100 rupees today, it's not the same, right?
Let's take the point of view that what is the one number that you will decide that decides whether the company is rich or not. For me, that number is called cash flow. But it is incomplete. Okay, so why is it incomplete? Cash flow in Italy tells me how much cash comes in, how much cash goes out at the end of the year, how much cash was left over, then how much of it is going to remain with the business, how much are we going to throw into assets, and how much are we going to distribute with my owners. Still incomplete. The coming in of the cash flow is what will decide whether my company is rich or not. So how does the cash flow come in? What would be your 3-4 answers to that?
Sales,
Okay.
is my first answer.
Okay.
Investment is the other answer. But I feel like when we're talking about rich companies, a majority of the cash flow would be sales. Third would be loans, bank investments. Those are the ones that I can think of.
So for me, your answer is completely complete. That's the solely grail of where I can get my money.
And for those of you who are wondering more about this, we do have an entire discussion on sales, investments, banks. Check that out.
So there was this economist. His name was Keynes. And Keynes talks about first level thinking, second level thinking, third level thinking. It's chapter 13 in his famous book. I'll link the book in the description below. It's a very important topic, right? It says that are you to think directly, indirectly, or indirectly to the indirect when it comes to thinking about an outcome. For example, there are 5 models on stage. You get rewarded for picking the model that gets the most number of votes. And 1,000 people are voting. Okay. Point number 1, who do you vote for?
The one I find the hottest.
So the first level thinking would be who is the hottest and I'll vote for them. Next level of thinking is what is the rule of the game? The rule of the games are that I have to vote for the person who gets the most number of votes. So number 2 would be let me pick the person who I think the crowds will think is the hottest. And there is a deeper level to this game, which would be, let me pick the person who the crowds think that the crowds will pick will be the hottest.
Let me simplify this. Friends, they know that I know they know. But does he know that I know he knows he knows? All of you know that scene where they are hiding Chandler and Monica's relationship from the others. And the entire game is in who knows and who doesn't know, and who doesn't know that the other knows and the other doesn't know.
How does this example fit into our discussion?
How does it fit into our discussion?
So cash flow is coming in. Cash flow is coming in because I'm making sales. Why am I making sales, or what is causing my sales to happen so that the cash flow is coming in so that I am rich, right? And I feel all companies on this planet make revenue, hopefully. Like some money they make. And all companies on this planet focus on cash flow. And all companies on this planet know that if my bank account runs out of cash, I have nothing to go for it. But all companies on this planet do not become rich companies. Because when I talk about rich companies, I am not even talking about LVs of the world. I am talking about the Apples, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Amazons, the Facebooks, the Teslas of this world, right? So for me, what makes a rich company rich is how much money do they make for other people. The wealthiest companies on the planet, richest companies on the planet, make a lot of people a lot of money. And I can completely back up my statement. Apple right now makes so many people so much money by providing them with laptops and phones and XYZ equipment that they then use to fulfill their clients' requirement, which means their life is running on Apple. Microsoft, same thing. Nvidia, right now, since their boom has boomed because of AI, right? But why is AI so special? Because AI makes a lot of people a lot of money. Not because of anything else, not because it can do my child's homework, but because for me, it makes fulfillment of my clients simpler. So it makes everything faster. That means money comes in faster. That means I make money. I made money because of ChatGPT, which is Microsoft, and they are able to run it because of Nvidia. So Nvidia is making me a lot of money. I feel that is the holy grail of a rich company. How many people can you make rich? The money is an exchange of value, and if I'm providing 100 value, you better give me 10. And these guys just like take that to a whole other scale. 3 billion YouTube active users a month. Bloody hell. Here you talk about Facebook. Why does Facebook make money? But our business runs on Facebook. All of the people who we have as clients, their businesses run on Facebook. Facebook makes them up.
So we have that perspective where if I make you money, or if a business is making a large number of people money, that business will become a rich business. Today we look at let's go back to the luxury angle, since a lot of what we have spoken about here is tech. And I feel like a lot of it is also true for holding companies or banks, where they are helping people make money, quite literally in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So that point does hold true. And I think we go through the biggest companies list, tech, banks, holding companies, these are what dominated.
Yeah.
The other thing which I saw was pharmaceutical companies, which is helping people save lives.
Pharmaceutical companies in America, because all of them were American companies, make a lot of money for a lot of insurance companies because pharma in America is heavily overpriced. But in that list of top 500 companies, you will not see an Indian pharma manufacturer, because that person is not like a direct byproduct of that income. So when I have insurance in America, sure, insurance pays for it. A $5 medicine goes for $142. That means the margin for the distributor is huge, and the margin for my insurance company is huge, and the margin for my company is huge. Distributors have all the incentive to just push my product. That's why you will see Pfizer, you will see Merck, you will see, what do you see, AbbVie up there. It is about making people money. And you talk about luxury brands, LV. If I am the distributor of an LV bag, yeah, and I am the distributor of a mom and pop shop bag, that bag, mom and pop shop, is going to have 10% margins upon manufacture, which means my cut is going to be in that 10% somewhere, a sliver of it. And it is the 10% of a very small price tag. If the bag goes for 20,000 rupees, then my cut is out of that 2,000 rupees, in which I also have to do delivery, in which I have to do a lot of other stuff with it, okay?
I have to pay my rent, so my shop, I have to do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. On the other hand, I have a Dior bag or an LV bag in house. That bag is worth 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees. Now, out of that 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees, I have 3 lakh rupees worth of margin, which is LV's margin or Dior's margin. In that margin, the distributor will get a huge cut. Distributor has all the incentive to push these bags, which means LV, Gucci, Prada, Dior, they make money because their distributors make a lot of money. And I can back this up with manufacturers.
And to add to the LV, Gucci, Prada, not only do they make their distributors a lot of money, the person who's buying it is using it as a status symbol to get themselves in somewhere where they're also making a lot of money. So I don't think it's limited to the distributor making money. The person who's paying that 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees is not paying it out of this bag is like the most supreme quality thing on the planet.
Yeah.
They're paying for that specific piece of branding that we talk about, that they're going around doing advertising for these companies.
So we have this friend, her brother wanted to buy an iQOO phone because that phone had phenomenal specs. That dude is an architect. He's like, I have to keep up appearances. I can't buy an iQOO product. That dude went on and bought like the Pixel whatever XL phone. He's like, I don't even like the specs of this phone. But if my client sees me with a Pixel, they perceive it as something that, okay, they can work with me. What is the essence behind this? The essence behind this is my selling tactic.
This is my way of making money.
Exactly. So now Pixel made him money, even not with software. just with how well it was marketed.
I also think that's where the consistency of revenue comes in, that I was talking about, where the moment you are sure that you are making someone money, and that person, as we talked about earlier, that the Apple guys, their entire lives depend on Apple, right? Or for us, a lot of the Blackmagic design products, tons of things out there where people are fully into the Adobe suite of things, where they're looking at everything Adobe. So these companies, what they have now is that they know this customer is with me for the long run. This customer is going to consistently keep paying me over X number of months, years, however you want to calculate it. That is what brings in consistency. And that is what also brings in the larger lifetime value, if you want to call it. You want to call it recurring revenue, lifetime value, consistency. All of these things apply. So that's why I feel like consistency draws into this. I feel like making other people money draws into this. Margins draws into this. And eventually it is about what value you're getting out of the product and what you value the most. Because our friend's brother valued that sale that he was going to make over the downside of the specs that were in the phone that he bought, where he was like, I don't even like this phone. But he valued the value that it was going to give him more than he valued the specs.
So we follow this guy, Alex Hormozi, and we are like hard-coded followers. Our businesses are built on his philosophy. There are 3 things that people value. 1, money. 2, relationships, because Tinder will not fit in this, right? And 3, mental health. Again,
Mental health, relationships, not the same thing?
not necessarily. Like relationships, you want a girl, or a girl wants a guy, or a guy wants a guy, or a girl wants a girl. Like you want a friend, or you want like a companion. On the other side, mental health, you want to be able to accept yourself. One way of looking at it. You want to sleep properly. Another way of looking at it. So health fits into this because of the pharma angle, but health might not fit into it directly in case of like just a mental health capacity. But these are the 3 things that people value. But the biggest companies, the rich companies, the scale companies, I feel there the angle of making people money works the best because humans innately are so hard-coded to love money and hard-coded to love value.
I'll give you an example. We often talk to people about making ads, and the most common objection that we get is that, yeah, you're too expensive. And then you put things into context as to what they are selling. When they are going to be selling it, selling 5 things, 6 things is going to get our value more than covered. It's very easy for companies who are making other people money to put things in money. The moment you get into relationships or the moment you get into mental health, the reason people again start objecting with money here is you can't quantify what a relationship is going to give you. You can't quantify what sleeping better is going to give you. It's very hard for people to visualize that, quantify that. And that is why oftentimes, even though these companies are doing some phenomenal work, where they're coming up with technology that's helping people sleep better, get to know each other better, get into better relationships, people don't pay for it. How many people pay for a Tinder or a Bumble or any of these dating apps that exist? What percentage of their user? Simply because they feel like money doesn't have a place here. I am here not to make money. I am here to get into a relationship. Why should I pay this person? So I feel like the relating things to money allows companies to make more money. And that is why the riches that we spoke about are the ones that are making people money.
Education cost is something that we will be discussing in another one, that how do we get people to actually believe in what you sell. But if you had fun listening to this conversation, press the subscribe button and get our book. It's in the description below. See ya.